know the air horn certainly works. Glad to have you all back listening to the Participation Trophy podcast. We are back after some PTO last week. In case you forgot us, I'm sitting with the homies, Jamal Smith, Neil Dalal, Zain Zaidi. I am Abdullah.
Sure.
We took a break for sure because sometimes, you just need one. Last week was one of those weeks, man. Like, when time starts to feel like it's passing slow, only because there's like a bunch of life duties that just got backlogged and decided to pile on you all at once. It's kind of like a Baltimore Sun newsroom in The Wire. I'll tell you one thing though. One thing I did not take PTO on is catching up on The Wire. That's exactly why Zain is so excited for theater
Round
tonight.
of applause.
Yeah. It's been an eventful week in our personal lives. I shaved my baby's head last week. Is that weird?
It was because I thought it was a filter on your IG story.
So did I.
Oh, the bald cap.
Yeah, listen. Hey, yeah. Neil, I know your Indian ass got hit with the razor in the head at least once when you were a baby. But listen, non-brown folks, just take a walk with me for a second. Now explain myself.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a white or black American that I've ever met that is familiar or have even heard of the whole theory of shaving your baby's head at infancy because it helps their hair grow thicker and stronger.
My dad probably just applied that for all of my childhood. He's like, "Oh, the buzz cut will always bring back the."
I love the buzz cut. Man. I love the buzz cut.
You're the only one.
I looked into it, because I fucking do my homework. And according to a variety of different parenting websites that I read, it seems to be considered complete bullshit.
That's not true. People say the same thing about your facial hair. Like if you shave, it comes back.
Definitely heard that.
You're telling me that's not the right way to go? What have I been doing?
I mean, I've been shaving my unibrow for 32 years, so
it's never came back there.
It should still look clean, right? It's just listen, man. Hey, grandma gone grandma, and like their grandma and their grandma's grandma, they're all convinced that this worked or that this will work. So I will say though, my baby's big ass head did grow a little quicker than her hair did. So she's like 4 months into life now, and her hair's already receding like a cab driver.
Dang, she already got hit to LeBron James.
Yeah, but yeah, my gut feeling though, after spending no more than 10 minutes doing some deep, comprehensive research, is that I think baby shaving was initially like a ritual that began in some parts of like the Eastern Hemisphere, and then slowly, like the scientific justification started to grow about it.
Yeah.
And it just stuck because here we are in 2021. In America, grooming my baby's head.
So is it something you typically do within the first few months of the babies, or is it by a toddler?
Yeah.
Like you kind of put it around a certain time?
It's the babies I've seen who've gone through this has been in infancy. So
okay, so not even walking yet, just
at or around. Oh yeah. We're talking like right around the 4 to 6 month phase. So yeah, so we lined her up real nice, skin tight.
Did you do it like a black barber tutorial video? You put like the ring light around her and like slowly do the 360 pan and had like some rod wave play.
Put some tape around and get the outline.
Yeah, put a little tape around in that real quick. Just pat it down real nice. Hey, the pre-cut,
the voiceover as the video goes. Like, I use the number 2. I just kind of took it down a little bit.
You know how it is on that barber chair, man. Like the pre-cut, like pampering, like when they sit you down, like kind of like. Put the tape around your neck real nice.
Start popping the chair up.
Fold it in. Pop the chair up. Get you real comfortable real quick. A little small talk. So yeah, we had to do that for her.
Cool.
But yeah, that's it, man. I mean, other than that, Mother's Day was on Sunday?
Yeah.
It's always on Sunday, right?
Yeah. Shout out to all the mamas, your mamas, and your baby mamas.
We love you. Go ahead.
Babies, mamas.
So who's that shit was on shuffle on repeat.
Yeah, what the fuck was that?
Who is more important to satisfy on Mother's Day, your mama or your baby mama? And I'm talking about like your wife, like a mom who expects something from you, not just any baby mom.
In my case, man, it's my mom, because she will get emo if she doesn't. I mean, I hate to say it, but if she doesn't get like not like a production, like, she doesn't need to be fucking, taken out of town and sent to a spa, but if she doesn't feel as though we put like a lot of like planning into it,
oh, she gonna get on you.
We'll get some shit like the next like that night, like a long text about you know, I raised you all to be very considerate. Yeah, my mom will hit
so
us
long
with
it
one
breaks
of those.
it up into 2 separate texts. That's how long it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it happened not too long ago with us, so yeah, she needs to. And, you know, it's not. I'm kind of sort of joking. My mom is, you know, parents are getting up there in age. My mom's, you know, 70. And she, you know, mom will hit you with that morbid shit every now and then, like, well, I don't know how long I'll be here. Like, don't say that shit. You just walk 3 miles this morning, you're perfectly healthy. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. So we did a brunch for her. We cooked and you know, brought gifts over. My mom was just really happy to have us all together because obviously because of lockdown, we used to do monthly family events and we haven't been able to do that, obviously. So she's very happy to have us over. We took plenty of pictures. We hung out. You know, we were all vaccinated, thankfully. So we felt pretty comfortable kind of in the space that we did have. So meeting up in her space was cool. The bullshit though is I placed a catering order like a couple weeks ago and I went to bed on Saturday night like, wouldn't it be some shit if my order got canceled? Like just some kind of funky shit happened. Yeah. I got up at like 7:30 in the morning. I had a text from the caterer like, hey, Mr. Smith, sorry I can't fulfill your order. Had an accident in my kitchen and, you know, fucking sink busted and oven had a problem.
Shut up. Really?
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. So the cooking was not the plan. I had spent, you know, a few $100 on some food. But we scraped it together and came up with something. I kind of feel bad for the kind of independent like business owners that have just a single point of failure on everything.
Yeah.
Like she works out of her house and, you know, it just fell apart. So I said it's cool. And we like I said, we worked around it. But we had a good day. It was a good Mother's Day.
Yeah, the reason why I asked about, you know, your mama versus your baby mama, because when you're in my position, you know, you got small kids, so it's kind of only you that has to, you know, make sure you know your wife is taken care of, and then you got your mom at the same time. You got a little support with your mom because you got your siblings, and you kind of all get in a group chat and try to figure out, you know, pitching on something. We got our AirPods and an iPad this year, so two things she really wanted. We were torn between that and the gazebo we wanted to install in her backyard. But it's like that whole week that builds up, and I'm a procrastinator, right? So like Miriam didn't get her gifts from Amazon until Sunday night. Like, you know, we had to we had to do like kind of a cake and a picture frame and a little video I made with the kids in the morning, and then say, okay, the more tangible shit, the real shit's coming, you know, later on that evening. So but it's like a frantic situation during the week.
It always is
trying to plan out two ladies that, you know, are equally important in terms of you know, motherhood and shit.
So but I think the best idea would be to do like, you got to make it seem like, okay, you got to have one in the afternoon, right? Like do like a brunch for your mom, right? Make it seem like the main event, right? And then at night you do it for your wife, right? It's like coaching Kobe and Shaq. You got to like push the right button. You know what I'm
saying? You're absolutely right. And we kind of did it vice versa. It was more of a daytime thing with my wife. And then the plan was dinner at my mom's, and, you know, we got some food catered, and we all had dinner together. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right. You always plan it separately. It's kind of like, you know, planning shit with your own family and with your in-laws separately too, like on Christmas or other shit, or Thanksgiving specifically. You know, it's always kind of like it's hard to get everybody congregated, especially obviously with COVID. That was next to impossible. But even in normal times, getting everybody congregated in one place at one time. Everyone has their own relationships, you know, that, you know, whatever. So, Neil, you've been awfully quiet.
Man, because I have no responsibilities on Mother's Day because
what you mean, man?
Got no baby mamas, and my mom is like, our entire family is very brown and just that, the Hallmark holiday, like what is this nonsense that we need to give
Mother's Day is every day type of thing,
right? It's like
your family
that slash it, like my sister, all she did was send my mom like in our chat like Happy Mother's Day, and like that was it. I was like, man, this is easy. I don't gotta do nothing. I watched 4 NBA games on Mother's Day, ate some good food, smoked some good stuff.
It's remarkable how Neil will tie anything back to usually the Wizards, but
sports,
basketball at some.
It was great. It was Happy Neil Day.
Yeah, that's good for you, man. Good for you.
You have a year to get somebody pregnant, so you can actually have something to do next year.
I feel like this is a challenge that people have been giving me for like the past 2 years. All right, Neil, in a year you should be married. I'm like, huh?
Yeah, no, don't rush that shit. Respectful.
Zane, you must have gotten together with your siblings or some shit.
Yeah. When we went out to eat. Went out to eat to one of my favorite Italian restaurants
Nice.
over in Manassas.
Real quick, Zane's mom is one of the most classic mom texters you'll ever meet.
Anyway. I wish I could read
mom
her text.
Textures. Oh, textures.
Yeah.
You should take some screenshots and put them on this one.
I put them up before.
Yeah, okay. we're gonna break this segment out for the post show highlights.
Yeah,
and we're gonna shout out your mom. This is your mom's year, man. We're gonna.
One time I sent her a GIF and she was like, "There's no sound." I was like, "No sound."
They're great. But shout out to all the moms.
Yep.
Shout out to Joe Glow, man. He lost his mom last year, and who's very near and dear to him, obviously. So shout out to Joe,
sure,
and the fam for Mama Glow. May she rest in peace. So we'll go ahead and switch gears and get into Neil's favorite topic, since he's already got a head start. We're going to get into open gym. I always lose the fucking soundbite. All right, y'all. 1 week from tonight, we will be watching the NBA play-in tournament, which is like a quick bracket of games between the 7th through 10th seeds. Neil, go ahead. School us on that real quick before I go on.
Sure. So there's a lot of misconceptions because it's not the same kind of play-in tournament that they had in the bubble last year. So what they have this year is you have 7 through 10 seeds. They're playing for the 7th and 8th seed in the actual playoffs. So 7th and 8th seeds in the play-in tournament, they'll play each other for the 7th seed. Whoever wins that game is in as the 7th seed will play the 2 seed in the first round. The loser of that game will play the winner of the 9th and 10th seed game. And so the loser of the 7-8 team game, the winner of the 9-10 game, the winner of that matchup will then be your 8 seed and play the 1 seed.
You honestly, it's hard as shit to explain this like verbally without showing some sort of graphic. But
bare minimum is that the 7th and 8th seed team in the play-in tournament, they only have to win 1 out of 2 games to get a playoff spot. The 9 and 10 seed team, they have to win 2 games back to back to try and get in as just the 8th seed.
And it's single elimination. So basically, if you're a 9th or 10th seed, you get one shot.
You get one shot
to go forward because your shit is trash. Anyway, like imagine a 10th seed like getting an opportunity to make the playoffs. We would have laughed at that shit 10 years ago. But now they get a chance. They got to beat the 9th seed, and then they got to beat the winner of the 7-8 seed to make it.
The 7th, 8th seed in this game is winner takes that one.
Right. Whoever wins the 7-8 game automatically becomes the 7th seed.
Yep.
So what it looks like right now, for contextual purposes, right now the Wizards are the 10 seed because the Pacers retook the 9 seed. I think there's a good chance the Wizards could get back into 9, given the Pacers' harder schedule finishing up. But it's looking like the Wizards would be the 9 seed. They would have to beat the 10 seed Pacers at home. If that's flipped vice versa, then it'll be at Indiana. But then most likely it's not looking like the Wizards will be able to get the 8th seed. They'll probably have to win out and get some help from Charlotte because Charlotte already has the tiebreaker over the Wizards.
Right.
So the Wizards would theoretically have to beat Indiana and then beat the loser of Boston-Charlotte. And Boston obviously is teetering on the news that Jaylen Brown is unfortunately out for the rest of the season.
Right.
So the Wizards, they'll have their chance, but they'll definitely probably looking at having to win 2 games in a row. They obviously have the talent, but where's the consistency?
Of course. Yeah. So like you said, they're a shoo-in to make the 10th seed, to be as good as the 8th seed. They're a game and a half behind the 8th seed. So yeah, it's kind of they got to win out and a few teams got to lose. So this week, of course, the story is Russell Westbrook, who last week and the week before that and the week before that, that's all this motherfucker does is fuck around and get triple doubles. Broke the record for the most triple dubs in NBA history, surpassing Oscar Robertson. Stephen A probably isn't impressed. I'm impressed. And I'm going to switch gears and let Neil go ahead and what's the vibes like, man?
Yeah, so like you said, Russell Westbrook has been on an absolute tear when it has come to triple doubles over the past month plus. in the last 26 games, he has 22 triple doubles. Like, that's just absurd.
It's insane.
And so he's broken Oscar Robinson's record for the most all-time triple doubles. Quick sidebar. I hate that the all-time records are regular season only. Like, shouldn't it just be, if it's all-time, shouldn't that include postseason?
Agreed.
I know it was regular season only.
It's always regular season. Yeah, they always separate it.
Because Russ had an advantage already in playoffs. So, like, theoretically, he's already had passed him for total triple doubles. But whatever, you got to get into the nomenclature and all that crap. But Russ is the new king of the triple double. He's playing better than ever. Finally, you know, he said that he had a tear in his quad earlier this season that he was playing through. Obviously, hindsight, the Wizards should have freaking just rested him in training camp for however long he needed to get right instead of him playing for 2 months on one leg. But that's a whole different story. But, you know, Russ is playing great, and that's why the Wizards, you know, they could do a little bit of damage in the first round. They could take a team to 6 games or something.
So Scott Brooks won Coach of the Month last month. And so, you know, nationally, you know, the perspective or the perception of the team is different from how we view it locally as fans.
That's the best part when you watch TV.
That's
the best part.
And so nationwide, Scott Brooks becomes put on this high pedestal as the mastermind behind the Wizards' recent success and their plunge into postseason, making it to the postseason. We all know that the Wizards are playing this well in spite of a lack of coaching.
They had Nate McMillan, they would be 5 to 10 wins better.
Can you imagine what this team is with a decent coach? And here's my question. Do Brad and Russ understand it? Right? It's one thing because they have a lot of leverage here. They have a lot of say here. Things have already been published regarding Scott Brooks's popularity in the locker room, not just amongst, you know, staff and other personnel, but his 2 superstars. We already know how Russ feels. And when you look at it from Russ and Brad's perspective, right? 2, you know, shot loving, you know, score first superstars.
Right.
For a coach to allow them, you know, unleashed as Scott Brooks did in OKC, as he does in DC now, how could you not love that? Right. So,
you know, the Randy Whitman 2-hour practices.
Yeah, we all have our qualms against Randy Whitman. But
I just see things shaping up. You know, I know Scott Brooks' deal ends completely at the end of the year, right?
Yes.
Correct.
So I see, first I was like, well, I see things shaping up for him to get, so he can't technically get an extension. Is that correct?
Right. It would be more re-signing him than an extension.
Yeah. So at first I was like, well, he's not, there's, you know, they're smart enough to know not to bring him back. Then he gets coach of the month and, you know, accolades for Russ. And I was like, well, can they give him would they do like a 1-year deal? And the reason I asked is because I think Tommy may have saved his job because of the Gafford trade and, you know, some other stuff seeming to kind of come together for him at the right moment. Right. And plus, you know, he lost his draft pick to an injury, season-ending injury. And so I could see him getting more of a pass. With Scott, I can't call it, man. But all the machinations are there for him to possibly be around next year. I just don't know how they do it.
So I'll probably end up being completely wrong because Ted Leonsis will go give this man a 2-year contract, you know, for $5 million because he'll be like, oh, it's a bargain, Scott. That's a 7 years, $40 million combined. You know, that's pretty good money for you. But I just see no way that he's coming back barring a miracle upset of the 76ers or the Nets in the first round. Like, he's literally cost this team multiple games in the beginning of the season, most recently now in the season. Like,
okay,
5 to 10 wins better with a competent coach like Becky Hammond or Wes Unseld Jr. or Sam Cassell.
The daily Becky Hammond drop.
Yeah.
What gives you hope though?
Into existence.
What gives you hope that you know, an owner who doesn't know basketball, who's doesn't seem really concerned about the team as much as he's concerned about the Capitals, and doesn't like upsetting continuity? What gives you hope that he'll actually make a move like that? I don't have much faith. I'm
still optimistic. I didn't live through 16 years of Ernie Grunfeld.
Okay, if I had a place to bet on it, I would think that, you know, Ted will roll out some kind of middle of the road, you know, platitudes and give him like you said, a 2-year deal. You know,
And what about his salary? You know, I mean, because this is a new contract, right? And so
he ain't getting a raise.
Right, he's not getting a raise, is what I mean. Would the new salary be the same existing salary?
If they continue to give Scott Brooks $7 million a year, I will laugh. I will tell Scott Brooks, yo, who is your agent? That man is winning at life.
You know, one thing we don't talk about is the fact that Scott Brooks isn't even going to be sought after by any other team. Like, in what scenario?
I don't think he's getting another head coaching job.
Yeah.
Oh no,
but he'll be chilling. He has his California, Southern California, probably nice winery type house that you can sit back and chill out on. He's winning, man.
Yeah. Well, he might be one star down for I don't know how long. What's up with Brad Beal?
The hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Well, so essentially, that was the in Indiana game, last Indiana matchup of the season. You know, he tweaks his ankle early in the game, second quarter, tweaks it again in the third quarter, ran out back to the locker room, probably got retaped up, then comes back, still dropping buckets. Remember, he dropped 50 in regulation in this game.
Yeah, man.
He said,
what a game.
Incredible.
That was one fuck of a game.
That was a great game. Yeah.
But then later on, and Scott is probably presuming that it had nothing to do with his previous ankle tweaks. We didn't get it, or I didn't get a chance to ask him because PR is what PR is on Zoom. But, you know, he tweaks his hamstring, pulls himself out at the end of regulation. He wasn't on the court, you know, with the last two possessions. The game's still in the balance. Doesn't play in overtime. You know, they shut him down for the next two road games. Say, okay, we're going to give him 5 straight days of rest, reevaluate him on Friday, right before their final 2 home regular season games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he may or may not play in those games. You know, I'm sure a lot of it will also depend on, you know, are they locked into that 9-10 range already? There's no incentive for him playing before the play-in tournament besides, you know, knocking off rust. Right. Why push it? It doesn't seem to be an overly, you know, serious injury. The MRI didn't show anything, but obviously for a guy that they want to keep in DC for the next 10 years, they're going to play this, you know, extremely cautiously.
Yeah, hamstring injuries naturally scare the fuck out of everybody because they're hamstrings. I mean, look at Harden; he's still, I don't know what his deal is, but it's not like a rolled ankle. I don't care about those, but when I heard hamstring, I got nervous as shit. So, hoping for the best.
A big fuck you to Kent Bazemore, by the way. Old Bell Biv DeVoe looking motherfucker.
Oh, Cosby
there
kid
you go,
looking
Kent,
motherfucker.
Giving
man.
a fuck when it's your turn to give a fuck.
Kent Lamont Bazemore. Brad and Kamaya, they dragged this man.
But, you know, Kent Bazemore had a reputation around here for a while.
Sure.
And it was way before this shit. I mean, and just on the floor, you know, he's a bitch. Like, he's just an asshole.
He's a local DMV product, right? Isn't he an Old Dominion product?
Man, that's not DMV.
That's not DMV. But yeah, the John Wall undercut, breaking his hand, shoving Bradley Beal midair. Just some dumb shit, man.
I never liked him. I mean, the dirty plays that's like I never care for him. Just like I never care for like Mare Carroll. But it wasn't anything about Mare Carroll being dirty. I just don't like the way he fucking looks. Like he looks like a fucking like black like doll and shit, like a voodoo doll. Anyway. Sorry. I'm allowed to irrationally hate people, and Mare Carroll's like at the top of my list.
Please
up there with Anthony Mackie. I don't like the motherfuckers' faces, man.
Anthony Mackie, that man was just in what movie did I just watch with him, Zane?
F. Nelson?
Maybe, I don't know.
Mackie's.
We'll get back to that in theater.
What movie did I tell you to watch with Anthony? Oh, 8 Mile.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh, that's where the hate started. Hate started there.
Oh, really? Wow.
Well, you know,
some actors can never shed certain characters, and for him, it's that in 8 Mile.
Really? Yeah, he does. He has the same fate look every time. I think that's what it is. He never changes anything.
I was scared.
Yeah, it's a few guys like that.
It's the same little skinny goatee and like the you know.
Yeah, shitty ass mustache.
So okay, we got Ken Bazemore, Mare Carroll, and Anthony Mackie. 3 guys that Jamal don't look.
I fuck all of them up on site. It's on site if I see any of them.
I actually used to love Ken Bazemore. He was a Laker for a brief moment, right?
brief moments. This man was a member of many teams for brief moments.
Yeah.
He'll be part of the Guangdong Long Lions next year. It's like
motherfuckers gonna have a statue in 8 years. China.
Okay, Stephon Marbury gonna put the coat around him.
He kind of looked like Marbury a little bit. He tatted up like him.
I'm surprised he's never played here. He just seems like a guy that we would sign with like a mid-level exception or some shit like that.
Nah, it's okay.
I don't know if they would have after 2015. I don't know if they would have.
We had Mike Scott. That was our former Atlanta Hawk that we signed.
Yeah, right.
So back to this playing shit. Speaking of Kent Bazemore's Lakers,
Kent Bazemore's Warriors.
Former team, the Lakers. Seventh. They're in seventh, a game behind Portland. They just lost to Portland. They beat the shit out of Phoenix. But the Blazers finish out against Denver, Utah, and Phoenix. So they got a tough schedule. But it looks like the Lakers are going to probably stay in the play-in bubble. I don't know if they're going to catch Portland.
Absolutely wild if, Phoenix, what are they, the first or second seed or something? And, they're finally making this playoff push. And
Chris have to play the Lakers in the first round.
Freaking the healthy Lakers if LeBron comes back healthy.
Look, I saw a tweet last night. It's like, what are y'all going to say when Phoenix loses in the first round to the Lakers?
Exactly, man.
That just got some damn bad luck for the Phoenix.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad luck.
All right, well, we'll see how the Wizards fare out. We'll see how the Lakers fare out. I'm going to switch it over to the NFL and get you guys' thoughts on how the draft fared out. We knew who the first 2 picks were going to be. Certainly a quarterback-heavy draft. 5 of the first 15 picks were quarterbacks. Zane and Neil's Washington football team, Jamal's New York Giants, my Miami Dolphins. I think we all had pretty good drafts, plugged in some holes where they needed to be. Zane, your squad got a linebacker. How do you feel about
I'm happy.
Jimmy
That's
Davis?
what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I was a little – I didn't follow the draft as closely this year as I do other years, which I have no idea why I didn't follow it that heavy this year. So when I heard him, I was just like, who the hell is that? But I think that's a lot of people's sentiment. Yeah, the Kentucky linebacker. Because he flew up draft boards. People were saying he was a 3rd or 4th rounder. And then just with his measurables, his vertical, his
Paul George-esque measurables.
Paul George-esque measurables. Not as crisp of a hairline, but yeah, I mean, he basically shot up the draft boards. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Some people are already projecting him. I think Vegas has him as a favorite for Rookie of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
He's going to eat getting those tackles behind that defensive line. Like
I think he should. Yeah, he has the
tackles.
speed and he has the range. But you never know. You never know, man. I mean, you can't. Every year there's one of these guys that's just like, oh my God, he's so fast. He's this, he's that. I don't want to compare him to like the kid last year, like the Simmons kid who was on Arizona.
Yeah.
Who was like the jack of all. I mean, he had an okay year, but like, sometimes these athletic traits don't just translate to the game.
Isaiah Simmons, right? He was the number 4 pick, right? Overall.
Yeah, he's he's top 7 pick, for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
But I mean, the point is that athleticism doesn't always translate. So it's really, but the good thing is you got Ron Rivera, who's a former linebacker. You got Jack Del Rio, who's a former linebacker. Both of them have coached the likes of Thomas Davis, Luke Kuechly, DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, Trevathan, Derek Wolfe, blah 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 blah. So I think that he's in good hands.
So I was happy because Ron Rivera essentially was like, he was one of our highest guys on our defensive draft board. I don't know if he said he was the highest defensive player because I think clearly they would have that cornerback higher, but hey, that's all I need to hear. Go get him.
Yeah.
So outside of Jimmy Davis, you got they I don't know these guys, too closely, but they did get an offensive lineman. They got a wide receiver and a cornerback in the 3rd round, a tight end in the 4th round. So they certainly addressed the positions they needed to, especially on defense. Cornerback's looking thin, so get some young talent in there. 3rd rounder should be at least serviceable and easy to develop. The Giants now. I want to talk about the Giants for a second because looking at them on paper right now, they look like a sleeper in the NFCs. I don't even want to call them a sleeper, only because Daniel Jones probably is still a little raw.
He's a wild card. Yeah,
but back in the division,
right? And we had a wide receiver heavy. Go ahead. I want you to go ahead. You want to clap back to that?
Nah, we just wait and see. And look, man, like obviously the Giants had like the worst offense in the league last year, especially passing offense. They just could not. I mean, at the end of the season, I could have played receiver. I could have played in the slot for the Giants because they had nothing. They would just end up in the cellar as far as talent goes. So, obviously the focus of the draft was let's get pieces around Daniel Jones to see, what he can actually do with like a real viable, set of offensive players. So obviously free agency was big in that respect. Kim Galladay, Kyle Rudolph came in. We're expecting Barkley back, obviously. I mean, he's on track to be healthy to start the season, but obviously the way his last 2 seasons went, we just don't know. So, they made a running back pick. But yeah, I mean, you look at Kadarius Toney was a surprise pick to several people. But man, I mean, you talk about playmakers, like this is what we need. We need playmakers. Sterling Shepard, I love him, but he's another guy that just, again, can't stay healthy. I like Slayton, but he's not he's not really a go-to guy. I mean, he's got
you picked up John Ross too from Cincinnati, who
picked up John Ross,
serviceable guy. But to your point, I mean, this is what they want to do for Daniel Jones is put these pieces around him, and now he's got a whole stash of receivers, pretty deep wide receiver core. Yeah. You got Tony coming out, in the slot. The young guy Galladay, man, I mean, he's a target. The motherfucker's a target.
He's huge too. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A 6'4" guy. Length, the measurables. Yeah. It's perfect for Daniel Jones. So I wouldn't be surprised if they made some noise deep into the season. At least give teams like the Cowboys and Washington and maybe Phillies in rebuild mode. But those other 2 teams are more. Yeah,
even after this draft, that people are still slotting the Giants in their 3rd in the NFC East. That's pretty much what I've seen across the board. They're putting Dallas and Washington ahead of New York, and that's fine. I mean, that's fine. Like again, Daniel Jones has stuff to show. The Giants got a knock because they didn't draft any offensive linemen, which is always kind of. I mean, when it got down to round 3 and they went with a cornerback, people were like genuinely upset on the Giants boards I've seen. But I think again, the most pressing need was offense. And getting weapons and getting skill players. And then beyond that, getting 2 guys, outside linebackers and edge that can give some type of pass rush, which the Giants have not had in God knows how long. Like the backs is like the fucking OC, JPP and OC Umanura days. Like, so, one guy they picked up was Ellison Smith. That grade got a little, it wasn't quite that great. And then their 2nd round pick, Ojulari, they said he
like
fell.
him?
I like him. I know he had an injury problem, so we'll just have to watch.
He's got like arthritis, right? Is that what it was?
Something with the knee, yeah. I think it's something like that.
He caught arthritis in his knee after an injury.
Yeah, so that's why he slid. That's why he slid. Yeah. Otherwise, he would have been a 1st round pick. So, yeah, but address the most pressing needs. That's all I could ask for. And like I said, we'll see what Daniel Jones can do.
Yeah. Any surprises? I know we talked about Justin Fields a lot. He ends up in Chicago.
Which is just hilarious because when Chicago signed Andy Dalton, they put out that QB1 tweet.
Yeah.
Not anymore, brother. You've gone before week 8.
And does Bill Belichick have his new guy, Mac Wilson?
Hey, he's got somebody that walks.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones.
Should be combining names out. This Mac Wilson, Johnny James. That's what you call the Johan.
My favorite part of the draft first night is Mac Jones' walk from the green room.
Right.
The motherfucker got like hips like a fucking retired bus driver. Like,
and the best part was just all the memes.
Like a fucking lunch lady and shit. Like
walking her bow-legged ass down the stairs.
All the memes that came out of it. Somebody was like, "Yep, the lunch lady coming down the hallway." Somebody was like, the bank manager coming to deny your loan."
Did you see this? They did the side to side of Bill Belichick.
Jay Lance with
it was like father and son. That's like, damn, dude.
They did this man cold, but it was great content.
Oh, shout out to the Giants, to Dave Gettleman, the Giants GM, for finessing an extra 1st round and an extra 3rd round pick out of the Bears, and I forgot who the other team they traded with in the 3rd round, which is going to be dope. Like next year, like an extra 1st round pick in any draft is fucking incredible. They could use that to maybe make some moves or actually use. And they said it's going to be critical because next season, I guess with the salary cap, we don't know what it's going to be. Draft picks is probably going to be more important than ever. Going into next year's draft. So I like that just as much as the picks for the Giants.
I feel you. Get it all out. Get it all out, Jamal.
That should take way too long, man.
This is the last Giants segment you getting.
I feel like after 45 minutes, I had like 3 picks that went by.
Yo, that shit was long as fuck. It took 3 hours.
It was 8:50 and they got picks. Yeah.
I like how the shit would say the pick is in for like 8 minutes on the screen.
Yeah, I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
That's because they were getting people from backstage to walk up to the mic and getting fans to sit on the stage and all that.
Got to make those jerseys and
yeah.
You know what I can't stand? I can't stand long ass fantasy drafts, like 5 minute.
Oh, that's our shit. Yeah.
It's got to be like 1 minute
picks.
Do y'all do in person or online drafts?
I've done both.
I've done both. I haven't done it in person in a long time, but it's typically online. I know you do the in-person shit a lot.
We do in person, yeah.
In person is fun because you can do real trades and everything.
Bro, we'd be drunk as shit before we start. It's just the best.
Love it.
That's how it be.
I'll tell you who's sick of the fucking draft. My boy Aaron Rodgers, man.
Favorite guest Jeopardy host.
So he wants out. I think he's come out and reinstated the fact that he wants out, that the shit isn't smoke. Reiterated
over some literally like some scrub wide receiver is what like everybody's saying is the big commotion and big deal breaker. I was like, what?
I'm a big Aaron Rodgers guy. I wish for him to finish in Green Bay. I just have that thing where just one team and just taking that one team. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is Green Bay, and so I'm pissed at Green Bay for bombing drafts year after year, for bombing free agency. Getting Rodgers the targets he needs. I'm pissed for Devontae Adams, man. I mean, my heart broke for him. Like, look like this motherfucker wanted out too. So, Zane, where do you want to see him go? Since he's going,
just somewhere where he has the best chance to win the Super Bowl. I mean, a guy like him needs to be. Yeah, I mean, Washington. I think Denver. I mean, to hear that Denver was the front runner. I mean, I guess Denver makes sense. San Francisco makes sense. Now San Francisco drafted a quarterback.
Can you explain how Denver makes sense? Because that was a head scratcher for me. But maybe I'm missing something.
I think the first thing is playing for John Elway's still there, right? So to kind of have a quarterback who's won Super Bowls, who's played at a high level, I think that's a relationship. Okay. I feel like Peyton Manning and John Elway kind of had that relationship also, because when Peyton Manning went to Denver, I thought the same thing. I was like, why not San Francisco? I felt like San Francisco had a better team at the time, but he ended up going there. He was just blown away by John Elway. And same thing with Aaron Rodgers going down there. You have Mile High, so you have kind of like another similar home field advantage. Is outdoors, so you feel like you had that advantage. He's played well in outdoors. You have 2 or 3 young receivers. You have Jerry Jeudy, and they got a couple other guys with some speed, with some skill. And then Denver's always had a solid defense, right? But the one main thing that never makes sense to me about Denver is Vic Fangio is just not a good coach.
Correct.
So he would be going backwards there and back into Mike McCarthy territory, probably worse than Mike McCarthy. So I don't. That would be something that would really that wouldn't make sense to me.
But no reason to go play for John Elway. Go play for the guy that beat John Elway in the Super Bowl. Doug Williams still has some honorary senior role with the Washington football team.
I don't even know what Doug does.
I was like, who is he talking about?
I had no idea where he was going with that.
Yeah, I was like, Doug Williams?
Doug Williams and Timmy Smith still ran all over John Elway's Denver Broncos.
Well, would you trade, no matter who your team is, right? Would you trade 2 first-rounders, 2 second-rounders, and a fringe starter for Aaron Rodgers at 37?
Yeah, but I would hope that it's not going to cost that much. If Rodgers wants out, where's the Packers' bargaining power?
He's Aaron Rodgers. That's pretty much the ball.
He's a 37-year-old quarterback that has what?
It's like bringing a supermodel into your house and being like, "You want to fuck her, don't you?" Like, well, she wants out. She wants to sleep with me. I'm not gonna let her come to me. Like, you're gonna be like, okay.
So that's how you would handle an Angie Dickinson situation.
Angie Dickinson. Let's see who gets lucky first. Yeah, I would do it. I don't give a fuck what it is, honestly. Like, he's even just to have that experience.
Man, listen,
of being able to root for Aaron Rodgers. I don't give a fuck.
You remember the IG post last week? Like all these different scenarios. They were like, 3 NFC teams, and then I think the Dolphins were in the mix. And they were like, I went to the Giants SB Nation board, and they were like, if this scenario would involve the Giants trading their 2 first-round picks and this and that as a non-starter. I was like, really? Is it a non-starter?
Yeah. Like, who?
You want to win, motherfucker? Like, are you serious?
Yeah, a team like the Giants should definitely.
Yeah, it's a first-round pick, multiple first-round pick minimum.
Yeah,
every trade scenario you see, hands
2
down.
first-round picks and then 2 second rounds. Yeah,
2 second-round picks and then at least one, serviceable player or the quarterback. I know that's what Miami's was. It was like Tua and like one of our receivers and 3 first-round picks over the next 5 years, some shit like that. But
how about we just trade Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tyler Heineke, and Kyle Allen? I think that's a great trade for Green Bay right there.
Who's going to play quarterback out of those?
All 3.
He's like, Green Bay needs a quarterback.
Diversifying numbers. You'll hit on one of them.
Yeah, Jordan Love too. Who they drafted the first rounder. Fucking idiots, man. I swear to God, I'm so glad. I hope he leaves. I hope he does not stay.
Yeah, well,
like, come on, dude.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not hyperbole when we say he makes any team an instant contender.
Oh yeah,
just his presence alone. So we're gonna go ahead and let's talk fights, man. We got some good shit again. The Canelo Andrade shit was hilarious. I'm gonna play this soundbite real quick. Can you imagine watching this with no context?
Yeah, hey, get the fuck out of here!
Or listening
You're
to
a horrible fighter.
Don't talk to my dad like that.
Don't talk to my dad. Get the fuck out of here! Yeah.
So give us the juices on this one. What's going on?
Well, first of all, let's talk about the actual fight. He fought Billy Joe Saunders this past weekend, and this is a fight fans were looking forward to, mostly because Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, he was pretty much close to undefeated before this fight. He was talking big shit. It's a fight that people wanted to see. Canelo has fought a lot of lesser names recently, or guys either, he had went up in weight to fight bigger guys, but everybody kind of knew the outcome. So this is a guy who was, more, it was a bigger name, a guy with some skill. So, he was talking shit all weekend, and basically he started off pretty strong in this fight. But eventually Canelo's just too damn good right now, man. Canelo has power, he has speed, he has defense. Yeah, and he timed that punch, perfectly. I mean, all fight he was trying to land it, and Billy Joe kept evading it by the slimmest of margins, and eventually he just walked right into this uppercut, and basically he ducked right into it. It on impact broke his face, basically, like it broke his orbital bone, pushed it all in.
Yeah, I saw his multiple fractures to orbital area. Had to get surgery.
Yeah. The doctor called it mid-round.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, well, he was on his stool, and his trainer was basically just like, "Are you ready? Like, are you ready to continue?" And he didn't respond. And once a fighter doesn't respond, like if you get knocked out and then the referee's like telling you to do something, like come forward, and you don't respond, he's just gonna call it off. Yeah, the same thing with your trainer. Your trainer's gonna try to protect you at that point. And it's pretty sad, just because in these scenarios, a lot of fighters are like, you quit, right? A lot of fighters get offended at something like that, when a fighter just kind of quits in the middle of a fight. I mean, at the end of the day, you can't understand what a fighter's going through, like whether he couldn't see or not. I mean, whether he could have permanent damage done. But there are some clips resurfacing from last year in which he was talking about somebody else quitting, and he was just like, "I would never quit. I don't care if my eye, if my face was, had fractures in my face. If I couldn't do this, it's like I would go out there and do blah 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 blah." And
isn't that basically what Deontay Wilder said? But
yeah.
They had to stop the Fury fight because he
was like, "Let me go out of my shield," right? Guys just want to. I mean, guys are kind of foolish to the point. It's a sad thing, because guys will actually say, like, "I'm willing to die in the ring. Let me die. If I die, I die," right? And that's the kind of bravado and kind of machismo that kind of guys carry out there. So it's a fine balance. It's really tough. I mean, long story short, after he loses Canelo's in his post-fight presser, and Demetrius Andrade shows up, and Andrade's been calling Canelo out for a while, and he interrupts a press conference, and eventually, Canelo's just like, "Who have you fought? Like, you haven't fought anybody. Like, what are you doing?" And Canelo raises a very good point that he brought up in the past. There's a group of fighters. It's like Charlo brothers. It's Andrade. It was maybe Saunders. It was a couple other guys. All these guys call out Canelo for a fight, but you'll never see any of these very talented guys fight each other. These guys will never fight each other, bro. Individually, they'll all call out Canelo, right? When in actuality, if they actually fought each other, and built their names up, they would be more deserving of a title shot, right? But they just want that money grab. They want to just jump straight to that. So it was funny. He's like, "Who have you fought?" And then Andrade was like, "Well, you haven't fought anybody." And then Canelo was just like, "You're a horrible fighter. So you're a horrible fighter." And then Andrade just got pissed, and then he just started just like talking all this shit. And then Canelo was just like, he's like, "Shut the fuck up, get the fuck out of here." This is the way he said it, and it's the funniest thing because Canelo, he can understand English, but he barely speaks English.
Yeah.
But when he does speak English, he's very like coherent. Like
I don't think I've ever heard him speak English. Yeah.
He barely speaks English, but he understands it very well.
Okay.
He actually can understand English questions. He'll respond in Spanish. And then like Andrade's dad came in there. He said, "Don't talk to my son out." He said, "Don't you talk to my son like that?" He said, "Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here." And then Andrade was like, this is the funniest part. Andrade was like, he's like, I'm gonna be outside. And then no, he was like, I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna fight you. And the Canelo was like, yeah. I see you outside, catch you outside, whatever. Right? He did that jump. It's like something he had seen like in a YouTube video or some shit. And then it just pretty much ended like that.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. So besides that, Floyd and Logan Paul got into some shit too.
Yeah. So
that shit was entertaining as fuck.
And Jake in the hat.
So it was super interesting because Jamal, I know we had the group chat, and when that shit happened, it was funny because just like I had gone on a YouTube video, and first everybody's been trashing this fight. I wasn't trashing it. I wanted to see it. I'm down to see a fight, just like this. I don't care. I look at it as entertainment. Yeah. And then you look in the YouTube after the hat thing. Oh my God, I can't wait for this.
It's popping.
He was like, I'm locked in now. Everybody was like saying the same shit.
YouTube star and a Hall of Fame boxer who was definitely a salesman. I was into it. I know it was staged. I don't give a fuck, man. I was entertained. And I usually don't go for these like, I hate to say like gimmicky type fights, but I'm ready to see this shit.
I mean, who doesn't get riled up for an event after seeing a pissed off Mayweather like that? Like that shit was just.
Shout out to May. I guess his hair hadn't quite filled out yet.
Joe.
That new shit. Yeah. Motherfucker he like a lollipop that fell behind the couch. Like all that shit just like kind of
all the fuzz.
Like, it's not a good look.
I don't think he was sensitive about it though, because he had an interview the week before. He was on a show. Whose show was he on? I think he was on the Gilly the Kid and the Wallow show.
Yeah, I think something like that.
He was on there. He wasn't wearing a hat or anything, and he had his hair all out and everything. But obviously the Paul brothers, they planned that out. But Mayweather wasn't in on that. I don't think he knew. Just from the emotion in his voice, his voice was cracking. Yeah. Like he was gonna cry or he was gonna kill somebody. It was like one of the two.
Unrelated for smart. Those who are watching on video, Neil just pulled out the fucking family-sized bottle of
that peach,
the Amsterdam.
You gotta make
Comsco?
The second round of Moscow mules to the show. Gotta re-up.
Man. To be young again. If I drink Amsterdam now, I would fucking die tonight. Anyway,
bottoms up.
Wow.
I'm ready for the fight. I'm ready for the fight.
Yes, sir. June 6th, right?
Yeah. One more thing. Zane, I saw that Fury and Anthony Joshua have a date or a date window.
Yeah, August 7th to 14th.
In Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, yeah. So Saudi Arabia, I think put up a site fee of $150 million.
Yeah.
To get this fight.
Because my son texted me, he was like, "Why are they fighting in Saudi Arabia?" I was like, "It came down to money, I'm assuming."
Right.
It's always money. It's always money, and it's sad because it's not a fight place. Like it's gonna like imagine if you're watching like Rocky versus Apollo, and you go in the crowd and like there's all these like sheikhs and like rich dudes with like fucking. Like what kind of excitement would that be? You know what I mean? Like it's
that
like
wasn't a Rocky 6.
That wasn't Rocky.
Rocky 7.
Rocky 6 in Iraq. Can you imagine? I'm surprised they didn't do that, right? Like he's fighting like some Arab fighter.
Yeah, exactly. They're like some Arab fighter.
Yeah, and like Mohammed bin Salman's in the fucking crowd. Yeah, so that's what it's like. Is Joshua fought Ruiz for the second time in Dubai or Saudi Arabia, and it was fun to watch the fight, but it's not like a fight crowd, right? But I mean, I guess we can't complain in the era that we're in.
Those fights in Europe or other parts other than the US they look different, like they come on like a weird time and shit, like
yeah, they
3 p.m. and shit, and the lighting's weird, and it's like
you know what I hate outside fights. You ever seen those outdoors fights? Those ones fuck me up.
Yeah.
Like WrestleMania.
But yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's just it doesn't quite look right.
The last Joshua fight, I think it was outdoors, and it was like I don't know what crazy time it was. It was like 2 PM. Like who the fuck? Yeah, I'm just like it's fucking weird. Like it's something about a fight at night when like everything's settled in. You've already, you know what I'm saying? Like 11, 12 o'clock.
You get celebrity shots leading up to it and shit.
Oh yeah. You see people in the crowd.
Who are the celebrities going to show up in in Saudi Arabia?
A lot of people did show up, but I wonder if they're gonna show any of them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, it's the camera works. Everything, like you said, so different. Like, when you watch on HBO or Showtime, you know, like the order of events because they just do the formula, right? And when it's over there, you don't know what to expect.
Fucking camera restrictions. They can't like film women and shit.
No,
fucking partition women on one
like
side.
There's like one camera, like one steady cam, like directly on the octagon, like nowhere else. Like just
fucking Sharia law enforcement fucking tickets.
There's like no margins.
Fucking Trump writing a statement about it. Like what's going on?
Yeah. Dude, but the summer's gonna be packed, man. We got June, we got the Mayweather jump. July, we got McGregor, and then August, if we get the Fury Joshua. And then I hope Oscar De La Hoya comes back or some shit just to fight. I don't know why. I don't know why I just thought of that. He's been talking about it, but
that's what's up, man.
Great.
Summer 2021 gonna be lit.
There you go. Yeah. MMA is always must-see TV here at the Participation Trophy Podcast, and we're gonna make sure it's must-see TV for you too. Matter of fact, we're gonna keep telling you what to watch. Let's go to the docket in theater. Man, nothing happy going on in theater this week. I'm gonna be giving the Wire recap in a second, but first, another grim and gloomy HBO series. This one of the miniseries variety, Mare of Easttown, starring Kate Winslet.
Y'all just torture yourself with all these horror films.
No shit, man. I can't even watch The Wire like at past midnight. It just scares me. It's just terrifying. So he's like, "No, you gotta watch it in the dark, man."
I don't know why the fuck you watch that shit at 4 in the fucking afternoon, man. It's not the same.
It's perfect, man. I know.
Way better.
No. I watch both times to be fair, but I can't resist my 4 p.m. watch. Is just irresistible. I can't.
You had to watch Chris and Snoop after the sun go down.
Yeah, you're right. Zane, you watched the first 4 episodes of Mare Easttown. What did you think?
It's tough. I'm enjoying it. I like thrillers. 1, I like 2, I like suspense. I don't even know the difference at this point, but if there's a murder mystery and there's a procedural aspect to it mixed in with some compelling characters, I'm locked in. I mean, I'll watch it. If it's HBO, I'll definitely watch it. So you got Kate Winslet playing it's just funny. So you got to watch. SNL did a skit very loosely based on Mare of Easttown, and it's fucking hilarious. It's like, how they do like these things, like there's a grizzled lady detective, who's in a small town where everybody knows each other, and like they all have accents. Yeah, they did like all that with like these crazy accents, right? So they basically
the murder, don't murder my daughter.
The murder. Yeah,
you murdered my daughter.
She's my cousin. Yeah,
I did watch that. Yeah,
that's exactly how Mare of Easttown is, and that's the one maddening thing about this show is like in the first, 2 episodes, like 120 minutes, it's like, oh yeah, Joel from up north, yeah, he's my cousin, and I don't know who the fuck they're talking to. Like they did that with like 8 different people, and they're just dropping these names, and you can't like. From what I gather,
that's what I hate. I hate learning new cast and new characters. And
this John is so confused. Like from what I gather, and don't get me wrong, I like the show. It's entertaining. Episode 1, 2, 3 were good. Episode 4, it took a very big step back, I thought, but it's still exhilarating. It's entertaining. There's a bunch of suspects, and she's going on this procedural route. Her life is obviously fucked up. She's got her own problems. It's very similar to Sharp Objects, if anybody has seen Sharp Objects.
You did make me watch
aspect. That. Yeah, which I loved. I love Sharp Objects. I thought it was very good. That's with Amy Adams. But similar
Amy
kind
Adams
of thing.
Is better than Kate Winslet.
So, question for you: how's the pacing as far as I guess the uncovering of? Because I'm sure you said it's centered around a murder, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Do they give you enough kind of breadcrumbs to kind of let you in on who the suspect might be, or do they keep you in the dark a whole lot? I'm trying to gauge if I should. But yeah,
I think it's a decent, solid pacing in the first 3 episodes where they reveal little things that kind of twist you in certain directions. Like, okay, well, now this person could be it, right? Oh, now we have this detail. Slowly, these kind of details kind of come out from fringe characters around the show.
Right.
On the first 3 episodes, I think it's done very well. Episode 4 was just a clusterfuck, like to the point where I was just like, what the hell's going on? Like they just took the story in like 10 different directions, and I had no idea what was going on at that point. I think from the detective procedural, like kind of stringing you along, I think they did a pretty good job the first 3 episodes. But the only thing, like I said, was confusing is like Kate Winslet, who's the main character. Like, I have no idea what her family structure is. I know she has like a son that, like, you know, killed himself in the past before the show begins, right? So that's a detail. And then she has like a daughter, and then she has like an ex-husband, but like the ex-husband's like married to another one, and then like her son who died like has a mother, or like I'm just like fucking lost. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And like everybody knows each other, and then there's this other like I could not follow that shit.
Yeah.
You know, luckily for me, I don't really care about those details. I try to focus only on the details that I feel like, you know, are important.
Sure.
So you're going to struggle a little bit through that. It's good to read after that. But, you know, so far 4 episodes in, I still want to see the end. But episode 4 was a little bit of a step back.
Do you know how many episodes there are total?
So like
6,
I have no
8?
idea, which is another frustrating thing because I was so locked in a couple of first episodes, and I was like, oh, okay, next episode. And I was like, fuck, it's still going on, which I hate. I hate following shows like while they're still on.
See, I like doing that shit. I miss like just waiting a week for stuff. I like the build up.
Oh no, forget that.
I think Netflix culture is kind of spoiled us because everything's binge. Yeah. I've seen people wait for a whole series to end just so they can binge it.
But you've also got those shows where you caught up later, so you binge the first 3 seasons until you finally caught up. I did that with Game of Thrones and with Lost.
I did that Game of Thrones.
Yeah. So where you
I rewatched Lost.
I think there's only gonna be 7 episodes.
Oh, you're a Lost guy. Okay.
You said 7 total?
Yeah, that's what I read online.
Okay. And so it's not coming back for a season 2. It's like a mini series.
That's what it looks like.
Okay. So kind of like Sharp Objects, like you said.
Who knows? Yeah. I thought the same thing about there's another show on USA. What was it called? The Sinner. I was like, okay, this is only 1 season.
Oh, yeah, you put me on like that
3
too.
seasons. Season 1 is good. Season 1 is very good. Jessica Biel. Justin Timberlake's girl. Yes, Justin Timberlake's girl. Yeah. Another good show if you haven't seen that. It's The Sinner. But yeah, solid so far. It's HBO. That comes with its own reputation as is. So I'm gonna continue watching, and I'll update next week when the next episode comes out.
Cool.
You know, I'll admit that one of the reasons why it took me so long to catch on to The Wire and to hold on was because of the slew of characters that were thrown at you from the very beginning, and especially like in the police department. It gets confusing.
Coming from someone who watched Game of Thrones, are you kidding me?
Listen. No, even Game of Thrones was tough as shit too.
Yeah.
But it was much faster paced than The Wire was, right? So when listen.
Oh, wait, hold on.
In the beginning, it sure was. When you're talking about
they fucking killed Eddard Stark in season 1, I was shook.
In season 1, but that's one event. I thought everything else was slow.
It's like 5 episodes for the Game of Thrones to open up. To me, it felt like that.
To me, 5-6 episodes.
There was so much like ground like.
So in the Wire you had Rawls and Daniels and Burrell and McNulty. So you had all these different figures within the police department, and it was just I had a hard time tracking who was who. The chain of command basically was kind of hard to follow initially. You know, Phelan was the judge. He was mad at Rawls was mad at him because of a backstory or a conversation that he had with McNulty. You know, breaking chain of command. So all that was kind of tough to track and hold on to for a bit. So I would take my time or just completely fall off and not come back to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that's just how I'm in it. But now here we are, season 5.
Season 3.
Well, season 5 is where I'm at. We're going to talk about season 3 just to keep a.
Oh damn!
You're already at season 5. Oh, you moving.
Yeah. I know. I can't put this shit down, man. But now season 3, the focus shifts from the docks back to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
The towers are down. The Barksdales are forced to move on to the corners.
Mm-hmm.
What really stuck out to me was seeing the grave differences in ideologies between Stringer and Avon. Stringer being out, helping form the co-op with Prop Joe, trying to bring unity, kind of produce more money and produce less bodies.
Yeah,
that's kind of what his game was. While Avon was still, despite being in jail, remained aggressive, demanding his corners. And I want my corners. So Stringer and Avon's inevitable fallout, or their fallout, inevitably led them to their fates, respectively. Stringer and Avon both setting each other up, one for death, one for prison. And that basically became the storyline of the streets, the fall of one empire and the rise of the next with the Stanfield organization. Fucking Marlo and Chris and Snoop. Y'all ain't warn me about these guys?
We definitely talked about Snoop.
Yeah, I know.
I talk about Snoop every fucking day.
Yeah. Fucking
down the damn street.
Dude,
Marlo's a fucking sociopath. Yeah.
Marlo's insane. Snoop is
insane. I don't want to jump too far ahead because I want to talk about season 4 next week. But at the end of season 4, Bodie kind of pretty much just let it all out on behalf of everybody when he just started going off about the Stanfield, crew while they were pulling bodies out of the vacants. That little scene with Poop where he just started kicking the windows into the cop car. So for me, that was kind of the biggest thing on the street, just kind of seeing, there's a lot of parallels that are drawn to the streets of Baltimore to the Iraq War, right? And so one of them is, while Saddam was in power, as evil as he was, there was still some sense of order. When so similar to Avon, when Avon gets pulled off the street, Marlo comes out and there's no rhyme or reason. There's absolutely zero regard for humanity, right? Over the most trivial things. I mean, the security guard murder was kind of set the tone, right? His punishment was what? For
talking back.
He talking back, right?
What do you do? Talk back.
He talked back. And it's such a change in reaction to something like that, right? Like you talk about season 1, the state witness that got murdered, William Gant, right? It was such a big deal. Just that one state witness's murder, right? Like it was such a big deal, a working man. And in fucking season 4, you've got a citywide morgue going on with bodies. Obviously not all of them, innocent people, but largely kids, to say the least. So definitely horrifying, definitely painful, and it's merciless. I mean, the horror of Amsterdam, Bundy, and the funny thing about Amsterdam is, or the fascinating thing to me is, again, another parallel that's being drawn: Bundy Colvin, Lieutenant Colvin, and Stringer Bell, two figures on the opposite side of the game, both seeking reform.
Change.
Through unconventional means.
Yeah. Exactly right, as Brother Mouzone put it. And at the end,
reform, Lamar, reform.
Yeah, reform. Stringer actually seeks out Bunny. So that connection right there, Stringer actually seeking out Bunny, to get Avon. But and then the other storylines, the domino effect in politics, the crossfire of influence between City Hall and the police department. It's just one way or the other. It's absolutely fascinating. So
it's such amazing writing.
It's just it's impeccable.
It's like watching a documentary, but with just great actors. It's just
I feel like Marlo in The Wire pissing me off like Anthony Mackie in 8 Mile.
Really?
Why?
I don't know.
I love Marlo.
I love Marlo. I think he's
Marlo a freaking psychopath.
No,
but don't get me wrong.
In that role, he's terrifying. Like he is fucking terrifying.
He played another role. Jamie Hector is the actor's name. And all I can see was Marlo, obviously.
Yeah. He actually drops a Marlo line in Bosch.
Did he? Yeah, I didn't stick with Bosch, but I remember when I first started, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Real.
There's also, actually, I hope I didn't send this in the chat. And don't look it up.
Okay,
Abdullah. But there's a Wire reference. There's a Wire reference in an iCarly episode, and I was like, "What the fuck?
What
is this?"
the fuck?
I was like, "Yeah, it's fucking crazy." It just came out like they just showed it a few weeks ago. I was like, "Damn."
Wow.
Yeah, dude, I fucked up a few times because you try to Google certain things that some confusing parts, and when you go to Reddit specifically, when you look up a question, people just start posting random shit that has no relevance to what's being asked, just to post it up, just to start a little sub conversation on the side. So that happened to me a couple times.
it's worse on Google because you can just plug in The Wire and there'll be the list of like these 5 drop down questions.
Or the auto or the
auto
correct in the autofill in the rest of your Google search.
So two things fucked me up. 2 things I knew was coming before it came. One was the situation with String and Brother Muzone and Omar, and then Bodie. Right at season 5 or season 4, the finale. So
it still
those
didn't
2 things
it
didn't ruin it. Stringer situation a little bit caught me off guard
because you didn't catch it. Yeah,
I didn't think it was going to happen this soon. I didn't realize that seasons 4, 3, and 4, 4 and 5, pretty much, were going to be completely free of Barksdales. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I mean, we got
Davis. Downtown Clay Davis. Fuck that's supposed to mean.
I miss those motherfuckers. I've missed Weebase in season 1. We got a good chunk of him in season 4, which I was happy about.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk more about season 4. Season 4 is heavy. Season 4 is fucking heavy.
It's insane.
Especially the angle that it takes with the education and the kids. It's more heartbreaking.
It's
dads,
dark.
I'm sure for you, Jamal, it probably hits a lot closer to home.
Yeah. Also, because my mom's a retired teacher. So,
there you go.
And she taught at some schools that weren't so great. So
no shit.
I don't wish that upon anybody. Just say that, like unruly kids that are like, I mean, just and like coming from that, that's just crazy, dude.
Yeah. It definitely changes. Yeah.
How my hair look, Jane?
Classic.
But I'm steaming through season 5. I'm trying to slow down, trying to savor these.
What episode are you on?
Well, episode 1. Just watch the first. Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Hey, this is the kind of momentum we're gonna have to carry over into The Sopranos.
Oh, it will.
I don't know, man. He's already pulling some bullshit on The Sopranos. Like,
no,
it's not the same.
Hey, Sopranos, Abdullah should already have this shit downloaded too from Dropbox.
Well,
5 months ago when I sent it to him.
I appreciate that. I got HBO Max too now, but I don't know. I just feel like The Wire, I might have to give it a second look before I move on to another show. I can't.
Wow. You just finished it.
I have to watch it again. You know what I do when I don't want to get to another episode because I just don't have time or I know I'm not going to give it full attention. I just go back to other episodes.
Yeah, but you're better served watching Sopranos and then going back and watching The Wire and letting that shit marinate a little bit.
I'll take your advice. Okay, that's fine. We'll do it. We'll get it done.
Gonna be done with Sopranos in 3 weeks.
I mean, not that Neil's opinion means anything.
Oh wow!
I'm kidding. I'm joking. But The Wire and Sopranos are of the same ilk. Whether or not you think Sopranos isn't for you or this is like the subject matter, like the writing is on the same level.
1A, 1B.
Yeah, it's 1A, 1B. It's like watching Kobe and Jordan play for me.
Okay. Well, I still got a whole chunk of Sopranos left. I'm still on season 2 there, so we'll definitely pick that up once I get through season 5 here. It's time for Detention, man. All right. So this week's Clown Hall meeting. Let's start off with Drake. Allegedly smashing the singer Naomi. Is it Sharon or Sharon?
I think it's Sharon.
Yeah, to share.
Sharon sounds hotter though.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
To the obvious dismay of her fiance Jamie's son, who also I'd never heard of. But it's funny seeing this play out. Of course, the clapback and beef nowadays is a slick Instagram post. So Jamie's son posted up a picture of him just drinking whiskey on a plane, captioning it, "I don't drink champagne, Poppy." It's kind of a metaphor to his.
Boy, your girl just smashed your drink. What do you, this man?
Yeah, Jamal, you got thoughts on this?
Some dirty shit, man. I'm a big Drake fan, by the way, but apparently, so Drake's still working on Certified Lover Boy, which I feel like is never coming out now. It feels like the fucking detox for him. Like it's just,
detox, yeah.
It's been working on it forever. I feel like he shelved it and brought it back and he's working on it anyway. So he enlisted Naomi to lay some vocals on, one of his tracks, right? So, in addition to fly her out, he flew out the fiance too. Like, oh yeah, both of y'all come out. It's all good. Yeah, we just come put it down. And then Drake worked out with the fiance. Like this motherfucker did the selfie. He's all happy that he's in the gym with Drake, and Drake's doing like lat pull downs and shit like that. And then and then I'm getting all this. All this is on Reddit, so they document all that shit. And it's like, yeah, Drake fucked her. And They took there was a picture of her that's, I guess it was on her page or on her story of her in the studio, you know, with headphones on singing and shit. I was like, damn, yeah, Drake's a dirty fucking dude. Broke this dude's heart, man. Like he was
That's fucked up, man.
Emo as fuck all over his page. And I said, maybe it's not true. Maybe it's just a rumor. And I went to her page because I've been following her before. All the pictures of her man are gone. Like all is just gone.
I was like, they were together for 8 years.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he put in a lot of time with that shit.
Damn, and Drake fucked that shit up in 8 hours?
And found out, you know, his girl got them cheeks clapped on the track. What if he fucked her like in the studio?
Yeah, he probably did.
Damn, shit. Man. Yep, so good to see you, man. Hope dude
she just wanna smoke a fuck. I said, girl, that's all the weed do. Yeah. All right. Speaking of some foul shit, Tyrese. Is this Tyrese's second flag?
No. Tyrese.
It's probably his third, man.
The hat trick.
The hat trick.
Okay.
He joins Rudy Giuliani as the only hat trick detention PTP participant.
Tyrese and Rudy Giuliani.
Because we named the hat trick award after Giuliani. We gotta.
It's the Drippy G award.
Make that shit official.
The Drippy G award.
We're gonna formalize
Drippy, literally the ink.
He posts a pic of him shaving his wife's pubes.
Yeah, and if you know me, I don't condone that shit. I don't condone that practice.
Shaving pubes in general, or
no? Yeah, he's a man
shaving.
Not a fan of the look, man. Not a fan of the look.
You like hairy arms? I forgot.
Yeah. I feel like
all natural.
Tyrese, like once every few months, like, you know what? Nobody's talking about me. Let me do the dumbest shit possible on social media and get attention.
This motherfucker got 16,000 Instagram posts, and I was looking for this pube one. Did he? And I couldn't find it. There's just so much.
I think he took it down, but obviously all the blogs and the other pages caught it, took a shot of it. But he's holding up like the razor, like the chick nitro shit. He's corny. He's corny. And you got to be a special woman, I guess, to deal with random shit that he does.
Is it as corny as Diddy changing his name again? Because we put him in this motherfucker too.
Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, why? Like, are you that bored? You just sit at home and say, you know what? I gotta change my name again.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah,
there was no reason behind it. It was basically just an idea that came up.
Like
apparently, he had been sitting on the word
thing, right?
Yes, yeah, he had been sitting on that name and referencing it in several places. Just the word love. What was it? Brother Love was. It was like an unofficial alias that he came out with.
Is he doing a new project or something? What does he need the brand for?
No. I'm saying before it was a branding thing when he changed his name from Puffy to
after the
whole
shooting. Even the term love, like he had been using it, and it might be a branding thing. To your point, Jamal, because this brother love thing, like he was kind of just putting it out in tweets and on Instagram posts, and kind of foreshadowing something with it. No one really paid it any mind, but from what I read, he just decided to come out and incorporate that shit in his government.
He like posts his license and shit. What the fuck is this?
Oh, good.
And we're gonna round this shit up with resellers. Jamal got a lot on his chest again about these motherfuckers.
Dude, when I say I had like an existential crisis last week before last, whenever the Travis Scott the Jordan 6 Travis Scott's drop, and I lost like 10 drawings.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, granted, everything was a raffle, but it's almost a guarantee that after there's a big marquee drop of anything, and it's centered around shoes or streetwear, but now it's everything. But as soon as you miss out on something, you get a notification from these aftermarket apps, the StockX, the Go, eBay now is doing the same thing as these other aftermarket apps. And people are buying shit with no intention of ever wearing it or ever using it. Terrible. And Travis Scott price was $250, I think, retail, and the market value now is, for my size, you can't get it for less than $600, and people are just hoarding this shit. And I got fucking pissed, man. I got pissed. And then, I brought it up to, this week because my boys shared in a group chat that PlayStations are back ordered until like there's going to be a huge shortage until 2022. Mm-hmm. So if you had plans to get one this summer or for the holidays or something, you're going to be pretty much out of luck. But if you go on like StockX, there are PlayStations there. You can buy one. You just have to pay the $250 to $300 premium on top of it. Just because, again, people are just sitting on these shit. So
that's fucking crazy. Man.
There's not really a shortage. There's a bunch of people hoarding them for profit. So that's what makes me fucking upset. There are people who actually want these things.
Yeah, I haven't really been in the game yet of buying shit, off of any sort of app or any sort of resellers. I recently I'm in the market for a PS5, so I set up notifications for a Twitter account that posts all types of shit.
Yeah, when it drops, it's gonna happen. Yeah,
when it drops, yeah. So you set your Twitter notification to alert you when they tweet. And as soon as I added them and set the notifications, I started getting PS5 alerts back to back to back for a whole day. Throughout the day, and then they just stopped after that. And when I would go, it would be legitimate links to Best Buy, usually just Best Buy. But as soon as you would put it in your cart, it would just start, processing, and it would just stay there. The three dots just going over and over and over again until some people said, they actually had the PS5 in their cart and then removed from their cart when they go to check out.
Yeah.
So am I falling victim to the same shit here? Just people just
you're competing with bots.
Yeah.
It's man versus machine. You're competing with software that does transactions in a second or two. So you probably will never get one until
never.
There's an abundance. I mean, it's totally fucked up. But everything is, look, if there's a Shopify platform or something that people can game to, automatically process, they'll do it. And like I said, if you want one bad enough, you're probably gonna have to either find a connect or pay over retail. I mean, that's pretty much the only way until next year.
It's back to shoes and PlayStations being harder to get than vaccines.
Everything, dude. Everything.
Tough, man. That's fucked up.
Thanks, Obama.
Guys. Yeah, thanks, Obama. All right.
Last year, Obama was 49. This year, he's 50. So which one is it?
Which is it, Obama?
Which one is it?
So classic.
Oh man, it's always a nice honorable mention to throw in some conservative bullshit into detention. I'm glad we did that. This was fun, guys. Shaking off that 1 week rust. I'm glad we did this. The moral of this week's podcast: leave your baby's head alone. Love your mama every day. Fuck Kent Bazemore and fuck the Packers because Aaron Rodgers is life. The Wire is the greatest television show in history. Tyrese is still a tool. And
watch a girl around Drake.
Watch a girl around Drake, man.
Don't let your girl around Drake, more importantly.
You know what you gotta do? If you're gonna be in that situation, you just gotta throw your girl at Drake. You gotta make him like Jedi mind fuck him. Like, you just fuck her. You can have her. And he'll probably be turned off and like
have at it. I'll watch.
Yeah, I'll watch. I swear I'll watch.
I swear I'll watch.
I swear I'll watch.
Oh my god. Oh my god! Would you saying Drake likes to fight for it?
I mean, it's like a challenge, right? Like,
I know, right?
If I can, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my god,
the allure of it all.
Yeah, it's just in the
damn, man. I wish I had those problems. For Jamal, for Neil, for Zane, I'm Abdullah. PTP in your area. Peace out.
Peace.
Later.